Mute. All right, how we're doing? Can anybody hear us yet?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep, we can hear
Can
you.
Folks hear us?
Yep, we can hear you.
They're answering, but we're not hearing them. So give it a second.
Yeah, we can.
I'm hearing you.
There.
Okay, now we can hear you.
Everything's coming online now.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Can you hear us all?
Can you hear me now?
Good job, bro.
We're coming back from the depths. So.
So sorry, folks.
We can. You're in and out, guys, if you're talking.
Okay, we should be back now.
Okay, can you hear us now?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start. Okay, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. This is the regular state planning and projects meeting for Fraser Park Public Utility District for Thursday, November 16th, 2023, starting at 4 p.m. We have two additional teleconference locations, 820 Elm Trail, Fraser Park, 93225, and 3844 Mount Pine Hills Way, Fraser Park, California, 93225. Sorry, folks, we had some technical difficulties, so we are starting this meeting at 4:10 due to our issues with getting on Zoom. So let's see, we're going to call the meeting to order. So first order of business is pledge to the flag. Oh, okay, ready, begin. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Okay, roll call of directors. Director Garcia is absent. Director Nyman,
Here,
present by teleconference. Director Gibson is absent. Director Kelling.
Here.
And I'm Director Schoenberg, and I am here. We have three directors present. That is a quorum. So moving on to item 2, discussion vote adjust agenda if necessary. I will entertain any adjustments.
I move that we table 7 and 8, the
Closed
closed
session.
session.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All right, roll call directors. Director Garcia absent, Director Gibson absent, Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Kelling,
Aye.
and Director Schoenberg is an aye, so 7 and 8 will both be tabled. Yes, please. Okay, anything else before we move on? Any other adjustments? Okay, then we will move to item 3, public comments. This is for items not currently listed on the agenda, limited to 5 minutes. Thank you. Any public comments that are not on items on the agenda? Okay, hearing none, I'll move to item 4, standing committee reports. Accounts payable committee.
We met and went through invoices and cut checks, and we'll discuss everything else in financial.
Okay, state update meeting committee.
Yes,
Go ahead, Director Nyman.
we met today. And I think most everything we will cover in the different items, so we can discuss that then. But Lawrence was absent from the meeting today, so you know, we'll have to discuss more about all this stuff. So we did make we did remove an invoice from the claim on the Lake of the Woods planning. We didn't have enough budget because the budget hasn't been approved yet, but we'll talk more about that the other time. So that's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Director Nyman. Any questions about that? Okay, item 5, ad hoc committee reports. The project committee, I don't believe we've met, correct?
No, we haven't met.
Okay, the financial committee, we haven't
think
met
we're
since
done.
the last meeting, yeah. and
I think we're done. I think that can be come off.
Well, no, because we have to do the budget. That's under the same thing.
You can,
Oh, you're gonna do that under that,
yeah, well,
or is it gonna be under a different ad hoc?
No, it's financial.
you can end and reform, that way there's a,
With
it finished its purpose, now it's gonna get a new purpose, and it just makes it cleaner, so it doesn't look like a standing committee. So it could be done that way.
We'll talk about that. Okay, generator pad construction committee. I don't know any, report. Director Garcia is absent, so, if there's no questions, I'll move on. Okay, item 6, discussion vote on accounts payable and financial information. This goes to Deborah.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so out of the meter well account, we cut 9 checks for a total of $4,051.25. There were no extraordinary disbursements. And out of the revenue operating account, we cut 17 checks for $23,641.18. And the 2 extraordinary disbursements, our employee benefit medical to JPIA was $7,423.11. And there was a disbursement to California Parking and Highway for 2 invoices totaling $7,200. Were there any questions or changes?
Nope. I think that's correct. So I'll make a motion that we pay our bills.
I have a question about the $26.
Well, oh, that has nothing to do, oh, okay. All right, go ahead.
That,
It does. Are we approving it or are we voiding it?
No, we're approving it. So the door is 26 short, so everything's going on as scheduled.
the door is $26 short.
Yeah,
So-
we shouldn't, we need to, I think that the financial committee, part of the budget committee, should, we need to work on a drawer policy, I guess. And we need to get with Deborah and do an audit,
Okay.
okay? So that's my suggestion, that we should put it under the financial committee, and that the financial committee review what the problem was, and then we'll fix that.
Okay, the ad hoc.
The ad hoc
Okay.
committee, yes. And then they can bring it back to the board meeting.
Okay,
Okay,
so there's a motion on the floor. There was a question it has not been seconded. There was a question to the motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, are there any other questions to the motion? Okay, roll call of directors. Director Garcia is absent. Director Gibson's absent. Director Nyman.
aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
And Director Schoenberg is an aye. That's 3, I don't think I said that, 3-0-0-2 absent. And that motion passes, so we will pay our bills. I do have a question that I guess I can also ask in the financial ad hoc, but it had to do with, and since you've been doing the transfers, Director Nyman, it had to do with the amounts in the general fund, which is all the way down to 50,000, from 200 something thousand. So is that not been reimbursed? I thought that money was supposed to go back in there from.
We do not
the-
have enough money to reimburse, that we haven't had enough money to reimburse the general fund from the revenue operating. So nothing has been put back.
But
Everything.
what did we pay for with that again? Do you
Well,
remember?
well, I don't remember all the amounts. I know we took 50,000 out to put into revenue operating when we were running short. And I think prior to that, we had to take in October, we took the interest, most of the interest and loan payment, which was probably 150,000. That's where that money came from. But, and then since then, we have been putting in transfers from revenue operating into the USDA payment account. So that's where we stand on that. I do have some transfers that I need to.
I'd like to entertain an idea to move money that we've been paying monthly into the, I don't have the name in front of me right now. I'd like to reimburse the general fund to keep it where it was at and
But-
remove that money, which is money we've been putting in monthly.
But Lisa,
to
if we stop putting money into the USDA payment fund, the
No,
same
I'm not
thing.
talking about the payment. I'm not talking about the payment fund. The USDA payment fund needs to have money going into it.
Okay,
That's
so
not what
what
I'm talking.
we
I'm
have
suggesting-
20,000 going into our long-term CIR.
I'm
and we have
suggesting we take
5,000
the long-term money that we've been putting a lot of money in, and it's over $1 million right now. And we reimburse the general fund because that fund is now exceeded $1 million, which I think was our original amounts that we had talked about on the last Prop 218. I would have to look up the exact amount, but I think we're really close to it,
Okay,
so it
well,
seems like.
what I
that's
think that
Uh,
we're also putting money into the SLA account, $5,000. So,
Right, which is fine. I think that that doesn't have money in it.
okay, but my suggestion would be maybe we take half the money. So monthly, we still continue to put 10,000 in the long term and put 10,000 into the back into our general fund.
That's another way to do it.
I mean, or we do that and then revisit it. I mean, we could stop for the rest of the, for 6 months and put the 20 grand into the general fund for like 6 or 9 months and then restart next year and revisit the issue.
Rather see us put a lump amount, we can talk about it later. I'm just entertaining that idea right now, but I'd rather see us. I think it's easier to follow putting a lump back into the general fund from the
So
lump we borrowed from.
so taking like the 150,000 from the long-term asset fund and putting it into the general.
Yeah, whatever's missing in the general, and then just continue as we've been doing.
Okay,
So whatever we borrow,
I do not have a problem with that. I think we have what, a million. How much do we have, Deborah, in our long-term asset? I think it's 1,070,000.
As of October 31st, the capital improvement reserve, is that what?
Yeah, the capital.
Yes.
1,061,195,056.
Okay. All right. So,
so you wanna look back and see what I think. It's
yeah,
easier to
we'll
track
have
it,
to get
see what-
if Tiffany can pull those for me, I'll come in, we'll go over it, but, and I'll make that transfer if, you know,
Well,
you're
wait a
talking,
minute,
you're probably talking $200,000. So it'll bring our CIR down to about $850,000. But we'll continue to put 20,000 in every month. You got a question, Terry?
We can't decide anything now. This is gonna have to be put on the agenda for next month.
Well, we
Well,
can
it
make
could
a
be
motion.
better
It's
to
under
have the additional-
financial.
Yeah, I'm fine with all the directors being here, but I just think we're borrowing out of a fund that was the original. We're borrowing out of a fund that's not. There was the original money that was set. Anyway, we can talk about it later.
Which
But
is
yeah, we
good.
can leave
I think we should talk about it, but I think that's a good idea. I don't have a problem with that. I think we should have everybody's agreement, but so just to let you know, so I made several transfers. This one I did not have because I didn't make last week's meeting. I had made a transfer. We had received claim 33. I made a transfer. I think this was like on the 7th of November or so. I made a transfer from the Lake of the Woods planning account to the revenue operating of $566.66 for board fees. That's from claim number 33. Also, from the Lake of the Woods planning account to the revenue operating account, $91 for staff recovery. That was claim 33. I also made a transfer from the meter well account to the revenue operating for $792. That was the for claim 15. That invoice, D Jasper Associates invoice 20-07053 was previously paid by us, and we received the money in the claim, so we put that back to our revenue operating. Also from the meter well revenue to the revenue operating account, $1,006.40. That also was we had paid a DJ Jasper and Associates invoice 23-00714 partial payment. And we had received claim 18 reimbursing the money to us, so that's why I did that transfer. We had also received money, standby fees. So as we had discussed before, so we took $175.25 from revenue operating, and we put it into the distribution system emergency reserve. We also, for property taxes, received $1,135.64. And so we transferred from the revenue operating into the distribution system emergency reserve. Also, what I did today was we did the since we got the approval for the telemetry, so I took from the replacement fund $34,077, and I put that into the revenue operating fund. And the reason why I put it to the revenue operating fund is because we have been running extremely low. I think we had, after our bills today, we would have only had, I don't know the exact amount, but it's like 30,000 in the revenue operating account. So so I took that money, and of course more will be moved from the replacement fund since we're not finished with all the work with the telemetry, but that's year to date what we've spent on the telemetry.
And
And that-
Director Nyman, that money had originally been spent out of the operating revenue anyway, correct?
I think
That's
it's a
all.
mixture. I think it was a mixture. I think if the bigger amounts, I think some of the bigger amounts might have come from the long-term account. The CRR,
Okay.
but I don't see a reason to put that money back in since we're running so extremely low. I think we're ultimately going to have to take the money anyway. So that's why I made that decision to take it from the replacement and put it into the revenue operating.
Okay, sounds good. Any
So-
questions? Okay, so are there any other questions for Deborah?
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night, Deborah.
Thank you. Have a good evening and a good weekend.
Thank you, you too. Good holiday.
Thank you.
Okay, so we tabled our closed sessions, which is items 7 and 8, so I'm gonna go on to item number 9 now. Discussion vote update on Fraser Park Lake of the Wood Consolidation Planning Project. 9A, discussion vote review of the project timeline and extension. I don't believe anything's changed on that, Dee, has anything?
That's correct. Nothing's changed.
Okay, 9B, discussion vote on the project technical memo. Where are we at on that?
Working on it now. Now that I have the expedited drinking water grant program application out of the way, be back on the planning. Technical report for the planning project.
Lisa? We were gonna confirm with Dee, because we got a little bit confused. How many technical memos are out there and for
Right,
what
we-
projects?
So the big thick book, Dee, that has all the stuff in it, isn't that the technical memo? Or are you in addition to that writing additional information for Lawrence? Because I thought we had given Lawrence that technical memo,
There's
the one for the plat.
there's a format that the state requires. And so I've got to put that information in the state format. I've been doing that. And then I pull
Okay.
up to do the other application, but pretty much all the information is in that document, but it needs to be formatted differently. That's what I'm working on.
Okay, so that's the technical memo. We're just gonna repeat it because we were very confused the other day. The technical memo for the planning project is basically encompassed in the big folder sitting over on the desk there. However, it needs to be put in a different format for the state.
That's right. Yeah. So
Okay. Okay, so then moving on, item 9C, discussion vote on the acquisition and development of the well 8 property. We
We-
haven't moved forward.
We haven't moved forward
Right.
but basically we plan on having the resolution done on the December 14th meeting.
Okay.
And
item-
Lawrence, I guess Lawrence is working on the letter that needs to go out for that, and he knows the time frame. So
Not Lawrence, it's
Mhm.
Alan.
you mean
I
Alan?
mean Alan.
Yeah, he's got the letter in draft form, and he's also got the resolution. I think that letter says December 7th.
Okay.
Did that get changed?
Well,
I
our
think we're
meeting
cha-
isn't until the 14th,
Yeah,
unless we're going to do a special meeting for a resolution.
I'm not sure.
We haven't seen it on the draft.
Tiffany, yeah, so we had him change it.
Yeah, because he had the 7th at 6 PM and we had him change it to the 14th at 6 PM, yeah. Oh, he had this, he had the 7th at 4 PM, and we had him change it to the 14th at
6
6 PM.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So can we follow up with Alan and just make sure that he is not waiting for something from us at this point? I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I've been kind of out of the loop for a couple weeks, so, or Tiffany can, or Tiffany, maybe you follow up with Alan, and, because I mean, he sent the draft. I don't know, if anybody has made any other comments to that, except for maybe you with the dates.
Yeah, both Tiffany and I made some comments on it, Brahma. And he is on it. I talked to him a couple days ago and I've
Okay.
left some
Yeah,
communication.
I just don't want all of a sudden him to say, oh, well, we're waiting on the board to give us some direction.
Yeah,
And
The rest of
because
the
it,
board hasn't seen that, so when is the board supposed to see that before and be able to make comments?
I assume that draft is going to be in the board's hands, I would say in next week.
yeah, but
Yeah, but the
We're-
board
but
can't
we're-
make a comment.
The 1st of December.
Unless we have a special meeting, this is our last meeting until the 14th of December. So either we would need to look at it this evening.
well, I don't see that there's anything, we've already approved for him to go forward. So I don't see anything for us to approve. Other than if you want to do the project, have him send it to the project committee, which is
I'm
you.
bringing it up because Director Kelling is expressing concerns.
Well, the letter can be
She's
sent to
not-
each one of you individually. You can read it. There's no need, to not have it in your
I
hands.
think that would constitute a serial meeting.
That's, yeah.
So, but my thing is there's nothing for anybody really to approve. Because he's doing his legal leave thing and he's going to send it out. So as long as the information is correct, if you want, maybe have the project committee review it and just send it back to him. Because I don't think there's any decision to be made because we've already told him to do this letter.
Director Kelling?
Because we're not having another meeting before it needs to go out. It has to go out at least, I believe it's 2 weeks before before you do the hearing and the resolution. And all it is a letter telling them, informing people this is what we're doing.
If the whole board is interested, we'll have to do a special meeting, and it would probably have to be a closed session. So we can confer with Alan on that.
And the thing is we don't have 2 board members here. To
And
even say.
you're not gonna have Rebecca for a while. She just had surgery, so she's unavailable. And I don't know about Jerry.
I think it's still kind of the decision for you, since I'm part of that project committee and Director Nyman's part of that project committee. I haven't even looked at it. I'm not sure I got it in there. I'm having issues with my email, so so I haven't seen it at all or commented on it, but I think it would just be your decision on whether you're okay with what Director Nyman's suggesting or whether we should have a special meeting.
You'd probably want it
I think it'd have to be at the end of this month.
pretty quick, because
Yeah.
the letter's gotta go out, so we'd need it Definitely
If
has
it
to-
needs 2 weeks, it would have to be before the 30th.
And if you want to give comment, I would say Monday or Tuesday. If you're gonna do the special meeting, do it now. Because there has to be enough time if you have comment. And that.
You know, and
It
Dee, I looked
depends
at,
on Helen's availability too.
yeah, I looked cause you said that letter was sent on the 7th, but I don't have anything in my email that I
Oh, you do
received
not.
from,
Was it sent to me?
No,
No.
the sword in the chain, as far as I know.
Yeah, because I don't remember seeing it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, yes, we may have directed Alan to do this, but we also directed Alan to have it done so we could look at it tonight. So Dee and Alan are working on this,
Johnny,
but there's no board representation. And I don't feel comfortable with that.
So I would suggest Monday or Tuesday if Dee can be a part of that, if he's available. Or you guys, obviously you guys too, but.
what do you mean, a special meeting?
Yeah,
I
a
mean,
special meeting.
I'm available Monday or Tuesday. I have no, you know,
Monday's,
are we not able to go into I mean, the problem is that one board director is not gonna be here, another board director is not here, but maybe the 3 board directors that are here, maybe we do need to go into the closed session and look at that draft this evening. Because we can do that as part of the closed session, correct? Or no, because it's not even in that closed session, that's just property negotiation. So no, we can't do that, it would have to
and
be.
I've never,
closed- it would
like
have-
I said, I've never seen the letter.
Okay. Dee,
yes,
here's the issue. We don't know about Alan's availability. I don't know if you remember. But we have to be careful about closed sessions and closed sessions and special meetings. And do you remember what you said about his availability?
no, I don't. I think Monday would be fine. I can check with him. I'm available Monday.
Thursday. I'd have to have the agenda
Special
out.
meeting, you need 24
Yeah,
hours,
so we'd have
but
to-
can you have just a closed session on a special meeting? I don't.
I believe so. I think the only thing you're not allowed to discuss at a special meeting is executive pay. So you can't put a closed session for executive pay on a special meeting. I think that's the only thing the Brown Act restricts. It's just a matter of the letter. Is the letter confidential, Dee? Do you believe it would have to be addressed in closed session?
It doesn't say confidential, but I'm guessing that we should treat it as such. Keep it
Okay.
word right now.
I think it has to be addressed in closed session because it's potential litigation.
That's right.
Because
Are
we
you
can have the
available?
meeting tentatively on Monday, but we have to hear from Ellen first before we do anything.
And I can't do Tuesday. I could do,
No, then it's Thanksgiving, Lisa, Thursday, Friday.
yeah, well, right.
I just wouldn't
Good day.
schedule it closed without Ellen.
Can you give him a call now?
I've already called him, Brahma, and no reply right now. He'll probably call me back sometime this evening.
We could do the 27th.
I just don't know if that'll give enough time.
It gives 2 weeks. Before the 14th.
Yeah,
I would
but
not know where to
it
go
would also,
to.
it'd have to be mailed, so we've got. That's why I think we only have next week. I mean, you have to consider mailing time, the 14 days in the notice.
And you're not comfortable with that project ad hoc? looking at it, or some other, I mean, it could even be the. Couldn't be the AP, could have to be the. couldn't
I'm
be
just
the-
saying that
No one on the board is.
no one on the board has looked at it. And I am not comfortable with not having board eyes on it.
Can, because if
Well-
we can do the projects ad hoc, that could happen without a special meeting. In the next
Yes.
couple days, I mean, before Thanksgiving. I haven't looked at it, Director Nyman hasn't looked at it, you have, you know,
Because
nobody's looked at
here's,
it.
here's the thing, Terry, we can look at it. I mean, I don't think that there's gonna be any changes to it because it comes down to legalese stuff. And we already gave, as a board, we've already given the approval for him to move forward with this. So I think-
Maybe since there have been a couple comments though, maybe it would be better to at least do it as the project ad hoc, at least to look at it, to see if there's any.
right,
Any
that's what I
additional
was just
comments?
saying.
We can't make a physical decision, I mean, the decision's already been made that we're submitting it. We would just be able to find anything that was like weird, that doesn't make sense or something.
Right. I mean, we're just proofreading, basically.
Right. But what Director Kelling's saying is no one's even done, you know, right now, no one on the board has laid eyes on it, which is potentially problematic. Since we're the ones physically voting on it.
But my point is that we've already voted on it. So in order for this to happen, the letter has to go out. It's not like it's anything that we're gonna be saying, oh, it needs to be this way or that way. He has a specific legal way he has to do this letter to announce the resolution and the meeting. And so therefore, I don't see any issue. I don't see why there's a problem. I mean, we can review it to make sure the dates and times are right, make sure that, you know, the spelling, you know, and then tell him to go forward because it's already been approved. This has to get done.
It just puts Director Kelling in a difficult position because she's the only director that's not on that project ad hoc, but yes, we did already vote on it.
Yes, we asked Alan to go forward. I totally agree with that.
Well, there's
But he
nothing,
was
there's
the-
nothing in there, Terry, that's gonna be different, that's gonna be detrimental to the community or the board, because it's just the legal process of what he has to do in order for this to happen. And otherwise, if we don't do it, then what's gonna happen is we're gonna be pushing out another meeting or two, and it's gonna be the end of December or January before we get this thing going. And this is not something that we have the option to continue to wait on.
Are you okay with the project ad hoc, Terry, or do you wanna look at it? That's actually the question.
I just feel like somebody on the board should look at it.
And you're okay with the project ad hoc looking at it? Is that? good?
Yeah, if Lisa
Okay.
if Lisa could pull it up right now and read it,
Got it.
that would be okay.
Okay,
But the thing is nobody has seen this.
right, and that's, yeah, perfect.
Well, that's
So-
what we're
I mean, it's
saying,
going,
but that's what we're just saying,
And I-
is we want to do it in the project ad hoc meeting. We'll do it on Monday. And then go from there.
Sounds-
Monday at what time?
Well, I mean, Alan's got to get it to us. I mean, somebody's got to send us.
I have it.
Okay,
Tiffany has it.
okay. So, I mean,
I can't do first thing in the morning, but I could do like noon, I guess, or 11:30 or. afternoon?
Let's
I
do
don't know,
earlier, 11:30.
Okay. Does that work for you, Dee?
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
Theoretically, I guess Alan wouldn't have to be there, but if he could be there, it'd be great, but he wouldn't have to be there as long as Tiffany and you, Dee, are there and you can communicate any other issues with Alan.
I'll communicate with him, well, as soon as I can get a hold of him and see if he can be available at 11:30 on Monday.
Okay,
Should I make it a Zoom?
yeah.
That worked well. Okay. Project,
And then you'll
The-
email that to that letter to us, Tiffany?
yeah. You want it
Okay.
beforehand? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to have it. I'd like to have it beforehand, just so that I can read it and review it and be prepared to ask any
Okay, and then
questions.
before that ad hoc meeting, I'll confirm that there's no update since the one I had. But you'll have a look at the first draft.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, any other questions in regard to item 9C? Okay, item 9D is the well 9 property. Did we move forward at all on that, Dee?
Well, we're moving forward. Jeff French and I have had a couple of conversations regarding the ability to locate the waste discharge facilities, the septic tank, on the revised 2 building pads. He was a bit concerned about, and I, as I am, and as all of us are, about the distance from those facilities to the well. There's a regulation that calls for 150 feet away from a public
Mhm.
well. And it looks to me like we can do that, but I've got to get a hold of Jeff and we got to talk it over, but it looks to me like we're okay. It's kind of tight because those parcels are not all that big and kind of funny shape, but we meet that requirement just barely. So that's really what we're Jeff and I are discussing. Just want to make sure that when we do this, that there's not an issue with the health department.
Okay. Any other questions in regard to 9D? Okay, 9E has been tabled. We're not gonna discuss that right now. 9F, the LAFCO, where are we, well, actually not LAFCO, but the MSR for LAFCO, where are we at on that?
Tiffany and I have both had discussions even today online with Ravish. And it appears to me we're pretty much ready to issue the draft, Tiffany, except there was some financial information that I think was in question. And so maybe you could weigh in a little bit on that.
Yeah, I did ask him to clarify if he's looking for all the grants. So I'm not sure if he's answered yet. I haven't been back since I sent that email. So once he tells me, then I'll be able to get him all that information.
Isn't that where we were at last week?
I just got one, Tiffany, just came in a couple of minutes ago, and he said that he did have them, and that he was going to forward those to Ravish, I think, and probably you too, I guess. So anyway, he's dealing with a funeral service, so he's kind of just getting on his phone, I think.
Okay.
Okay, and Pam had already gotten everything into him, correct? Like the woods?
No, we're waiting for him to finish
Oh,
this, and then that draft will go to Lake of the Woods. They have not sent it
No,
yet.
they haven't seen the draft, but they got all the financial information into Ravish.
Yeah, Pam had to send that and she did.
And then you still need to do the average.
That's for a different. I don't think that's for Ravish, that's for
Different project.
the pipeline application.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we're still waiting, basically. 9G, the MOU is still tabled because we're not there yet. That's gonna happen towards the end of this project or the beginning of the next. 9H, discussion vote update on raising the standby fee. Oscar, where are we at? Have we heard anything?
Well, we found out today from Carlos that he almost had everything done, but they may be making him, hold on, what did I write down? Making him do a different format. So they're changing the plan, but he plans to have it all submitted by the end of the month. By
And that's
November
to get
30th.
TA funding?
What's that?
That's to get TA funding.
That's
for
to
that.
get TA funding.
Yeah,
So
the,
he's
Okay.
worked on the work plan. Go ahead, Oscar.
yeah, the state has changed the format, the different format, so he's probably having to change from the previous format to this new format, so it just takes a little bit longer.
So he's basically did the work plan and he's got it all pretty much completed. But then, like you said, the state changed their form or how they want it, and so he's going to have to work on that. And so, but he said he would have it submitted by the end of the month.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there anything else on 9H? Okay, 9I is Lake of the Woods, discussion vote on your projects and the consolidation.
We'll let Pam do that.
Do you want me to do the whole thing I did today?
Yes, do the whole thing you did today, Pam. That would be wonderful.
Okay, so the $3.5 million project is moving along, and we were saying that we should be done by the end of the year, beginning of January, depending on weather, and that we should be putting on some pressurizing the new lines, testing them, and then putting them on. We're also going to be having a meeting with the state to make sure that goes as smooth as possible. And then all the asphalt and paving will have to wait until spring when the temperatures are better per county regulations. Generator project, we won't have any information until the latter part of 2024. $1 million project has been, the designs, the basis of design have been postponed just a little bit from what we found in phase 2, which is currently in process. We're finding a whole bunch of lines. So those designs are a little delayed. Permits, we've gotten like 4 of them done. We're still waiting on the US Forestry. So our schedule's a little later with the designs, and then well number 4 has been offline still. We're collecting data, and then the blending station, the nitrate levels have been between 4.9 and 5.2 for the month of October, and all of our wells are slowly leveling off or dropping between a half a foot to 6 feet. And then we got the information to Dee about mapping for the annexation and kind of roughly where we want to put that line when you guys connect to us. All right, is there any questions? Or did I just talk way too fast?
No, that's great.
No, you did great.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Okay. And then 9J, I guess, I don't know who's doing this because Carlos isn't here, but Oscar, you, or
I
the,
can, I guess,
okay, that's discussion vote on claim 36 and any other claims and payouts.
yeah. So basically, on this is claim number 36. And on this claim, he put $466.66 for project management administration. There was a Young and Wooldridge invoice for $2,487.50. Then there was staff costs recovery of $39. Then under consolidation engineering, there are three different invoices, 23-01014, 15 and 16. And they're broken up into different categories. So they're split for consolidation engineering, for the PER engineering report, and well design. So from three of those invoices, consolidation engineering was $6,191.69. So that would make us over $1,000.90. So he was going to take $1,100 out of that so that we stay within budget until we get our budget approval. The letter has gone out, as far as I know, to Lawrence. So I told him it'd be best that we submitted this because Lawrence is on vacation. I said that it's probably better that we take the 1,100 out so that we're within budget for this claim, and we'll add the 1,100 on D's invoice to the next claim. So then there was, for the engineering report, it was $3,146.50. Then under well design, it came to $1,555. So the current one is $13,886.35 minus the 1,100 when he corrects it. So if there isn't any questions, I'd like to make a motion that we approve claim 36 with the changes noted, which the total should come to approximately $12,786.35. And Carlos will have that out after our approval.
Okay, is there a second to Director Nyman's motion?
I'll second that.
Any other questions? We'll call directors. Director Garcia is absent, Director Gibson's absent, Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Kelling.
Aye.
Director Schoenberg is an aye, so that motion to approve claim 36 as amended, as stated, will pass, and that's 3-0-0 with 2 directors absent. Okay, so we're gonna go on to item 10 now. Discussion vote update on FPPD meter replacement project, emergency well supply project. 10A, discussion vote update on well 7. Has anything changed with, I know we're waiting.
So we're
hear
still
from-
waiting. We do not have the approval. Lawrence was not there today. So there was a discussion about there was some requirement that they were supposed to cap the well within 30 days. And Ryan Eisenhower said that as long as it's in the works, it's not a problem. So, I mean, we're basically waiting on approval from the state. And we can't cap the well until, because we're waiting on the approval on,
For replacement.
what's that?
Cap the well or replace the fencing. Can't do either one.
Capping the well and doing that. You wanna take that a little more, D?
No, that's pretty much it. We were a little bit concerned about the, bumping up against the limit, and Ryan, indicated in that meeting, just as you reported, Brahma, that it is a project that's underway, and we can wait till after the first of the year and get that done, so we don't have to put our own money into it.
Okay, item 10B, discussion vote update on the meter replacement portion of that project.
No
Any
changes. We're basically waiting on the brass. We've been receiving the meters, so it's just waiting on the brass, and that's still scheduled, I believe, for January, right, Dee? January, February?
Yes, that's correct.
And D, was the inventory and everything of that completed?
We haven't,
Meters?
we haven't done that yet because they haven't received all the meters, but when they have, and excuse me, get the brass in, pardon me again. When they get all that in, we will inventory it, make sure we've got everything that should be ordered, that we should have received.
Okay, any other questions on that? I'll move on to item 10C, discussion vote on claim number 21, other claims and payouts. That's Oscar.
So we have two invoices for claim 21.
Oscar, you,
Hello?
okay, go ahead.
Okay,
There you
so
are.
we have two invoices for claim 21. Invoice
Yes,
23-010188, and that's in the amount of $254.35. And then we have invoice 23-01019, and that's in the amount of $84.75. And this brings the total amount for claim 21. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble with my math. $339
$339.
even for the amount for claim 21.
Okay. It's pretty straightforward. What's that?
I was gonna entertain a motion to approve that, if everything's okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve claim 21 in the amount of $339 with the invoices stated.
I do have
Do I
a
hear a second?
oh, sorry.
What's up, Oscar?
I just wanted to know, the only outstanding claims are 19 and 20, and this will end, correct?
As far as I know, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we made a bunch of payments today on the other ones. So do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, any other questions on claim 21's approval? The roll call of directors, Director Garcia is absent, Director Gibson's absent, Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Kelling,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg is an aye, so that's 3-0-0 with 2 absent directors. That motion passes. So claim number 21 is approved, Oscar. Okay, and 10D, discussion vote update on bridge loan requests and payments. I don't believe we have a need
No,
for that yet.
There's nothing going on with that until we get the approval for on the change order, and then they can submit the final billing on all that. Then at that point, we'll take out a loan.
Okay, so if there's no other questions on item 10, I will move on to item 11. Yeah, 11, discussion vote update on pipeline replacement project. 11A has been completed. That was the potholing and mapping, so we're not going to be discussing that, I don't believe. 11B is the discussion vote on engineering and design. I believe we're still in that process. Dee, do you want to catch us up?
Yeah, we're getting very close to being done with that, but we do have the plans in a format and to a degree of completion that they can be used for the funding.
The project
application.
application.
Yeah. So, and I think,
And then the,
sorry. So I think Carlos is taking care of that application.
okay, any other questions on 11B? Yeah, 11C, discussion vote on the engineering contract. Is that
At this
available
point,
for us to vote?
no, at this point, Oscar wanted us to hold off. And because everything is right now, the funding is going through self-help enterprises, and he needs to verify what we need for the application and whether we need one. So D kind of has it on his desk, but he hasn't sent it yet. And we're kind of waiting on, we're going to be waiting on Oscar. He's following up on what exactly we need, so we're not doing double work.
Okay. So both Oscar. That check.
Project application, we pretty much have everything we need. We're waiting on the audit, and once we get the audits, then we can submit that. And you know, the date, I don't know, is what?
So both Oscar and Carlos are doing that.
What's that? What's that, Lisa? I didn't understand.
Oh, you said we're waiting on Oscar, but I thought Carlos was, so are both Carlos and
I mean,
Oscar
we're waiting
are-
on, I'm sorry,
them leave.
we're waiting on Carlos for D's contract.
Yeah, so basically from what
Okay, I was getting a little confused.
what Carlos said, Lisa, was that he wasn't sure if the contract they needed was the one between self-help enterprises and D Jasper, or if it was one directly from D and FPPUD. So he needs to get that cleared up.
Yeah, my understanding for any of these applications is that we, FPPUD, need a contract with D, but I could be wrong about that, but that's my understanding.
And there's no clarification of that. Self-help does have a contract with D.
I am in the middle of a board meeting, so I'll have to call back or talk to you tomorrow. I'm on the water board. Okay, is it okay? Or is it? Okay, great, thank you. Bye. Okay, sorry about that.
So self-help has
A
a
contract
contract
already,
with D.
yes.
And so Oscar's gonna see if they also need one from us. Was thinking they did not, because the money's coming from them instead of from us. So we'll see.
Well, it's coming, so for the main project, is the money gonna be coming from self-help? No. That's just for the current TA funds for the currently what's being paid for, the engineering and the potholing, correct? The project itself, the whatever $1 million, that's
Right.
not going through self-help, that's going.
Okay,
that's
well,
an
we've got
application for
time
us. So
to,
wouldn't we need?
we've got time to get this clarified. I mean,
Yeah, we
at
don't
this,
have the audit.
I mean, at this point, D
Okay.
has the contract pretty much done. And then, you know, he can send it to us for review, but like I said, he wanted to get clarification, so I think we're gonna find out more next month.
Okay, great. So, if there are no more questions about that, 11D, we pretty much discussed all that already. As far as the project application, so we're waiting for the audits to come back, which we need to wait till January, and then we're waiting, or even February possibly, and then we're waiting on, clarifying the contract. So any other questions on 11? Okay, I'm gonna move on to, item 12. I think Oscar, you don't need to continue, being on the meeting if you'd like to go. Correct, everybody?
Correct. Have a good night.
Have a
Happy
really
Hanukkah.
great, night and a good holiday, and we will see you, in December. Thank you, Oscar. Okay, item 12, discussion about update on Cal OES Community Power Resiliency Allocation of Special Districts Grant 12A. Discussion vote update on the purchase of the generators. The generators are sitting in the yard. We still do not have the load banks because that all hinges on B and C, correct?
No.
So I think, unless there's anything else, I'll move on to 12B, discussion vote on engineering and design, which actually that's done as well. It's really 12C, discussion vote on bidding the generator pads. And we had a number of questions at the meeting last week about whether or not we really needed to do the bidding through UD, or whether the bidding could happen through FPPUD.
Yeah, there was some discussion that's today, Curtis and Johnny, I think maybe Jerry also was part of that, about proceeding with maybe a gravel base for these to get the generators down in place before we get some weather. So that may be the fallback. I think because there was some concern about the cost. Johnny was really concerned about the cost of these pads. And, if we could get along with something less than a concrete pad, I think that would be sufficient now. And then if we wanted to put a concrete pad on top of that at a later date, that we could do that as well.
Well, I have a question. What generally is the rate of corrosion? I mean, that's why they usually put these on a concrete pad, correct? So on the gravel, is there a greater chance of it corroding prematurely?
No, I don't think so. These have axles and they would be, the tires would be taken off, the wheels would be taken off. And they'd be put on a block of some sort. So they wouldn't, you wouldn't have any contact of the metal in the generator with the ground. So therefore, no corrosion.
Okay, so that's for further discussion on how we might do that. So we're talking about blocks or railroad ties or something, or some sort of thing to raise it plus gravel.
Yeah.
The one in the yard is sitting on some gravel. So I don't think the bigger ones are gonna deteriorate any faster than the one in the yard.
Yeah, it's a safe installation, and we should be fine. And again, Johnny will weigh in on this as well as Jerry. But I think we have a good interim solution to get these things in place. And it will be cheap. Well, cheap. It will be less expensive than doing concrete.
And will not need to be bid out.
Right. I think we can do it with force account.
Was that,
Okay.
but does that mean that,
Any other questions on 12?
well, my question would be, does that mean though, at a later time, we would have to do concrete pads at some point?
I don't think so.
Okay,
We could live with that, and I think the only concern that we'd have to be aware of is if we got any erosion of the
Right.
pads, and as the snow melts or as we get some rainstorms. But that can be easily corrected. So that
Okay.
could be a permanent solution.
yeah. Cause I'm thinking, if we're gonna do it that way, and then we still have to go back later and do it, you know, then we're having to spend all that extra money besides the fact that you have to rent cranes again and everything for a second time to move them. And so, um, okay.
Okay, any other questions on 12C? Okay, moving on to item 13, discussion about update on the district's water tank repair and or replacements.
So I have just updates on the grant information. I received an email from Cal OES Hazard Mitigation. So Kern County isn't gonna have their hazard mitigation plan in place until at least 2026. So that's not gonna help us if we're trying to get approved based on that relationship. If we want to look at that funding in the future, we will have to get our own hazard mitigation plan in place, approved by FEMA. So that's not looking like anytime soon, and I don't know all the details of how to get a plan in place. That's beyond my ranking. And then, so I've got the application for the block grant, the Kern County block grant. I sent it to Dee, he's looked over it. We kind of discussed it a little bit. Dee wants to help us keep his costs relatively low. So I believe Johnny and I are gonna start on it and get everything we can answered and all those questions. And then when it comes to the engineering technical project questions, then we'll have Dee come in and help with those. The due date's December 15th, so we have a little bit of time to get that done.
Okay, any additional questions on item 13? Okay, do we want to take a recess or we want to move on?
Well, we can move on, but thank you, Dee. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Brahma, and you as well, and also you, Lisa, and Terry, and Pam, and Joan, Mary. I think it'll be a good one this year.
Yes.
Okay, have a
Thank
good
you,
Thank you, Dee.
Thanksgiving.
All alive. Great.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Stay off your horse.
I was going to get on one to Saturday, so
Be
praying
careful.
for me, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
Okay, I'll move on to new business. Item 14, discussion vote on renewing the Cross Connection Specialist Services contract. This is the contract that we do each year. This is for the 2024 term. In a letter addressed to Johnny from our David Wasserman, who currently is our Cross Connection Service Specialist. He said, since the inception of this business in 2020, we have not increased our rates. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics has reported the cost of living since 2020 has increased by 19%. We are on track for an annual increase of over 7%. The United States Postal Service has increased the rate for mail services by 100% from 33 cents to 66 cents. It is finally necessary for me to make a cost of living adjustment. I will increase my rate to match the projected increase of 7% with a slight rounding up or down to make it easier for all our bookkeepers. If you agree, please sign the attached contract and return it to me. If agreed upon, I will return the signed contract with a new W-9 using a TIN. So he included the contract. And I'm gonna look, I believe it's exactly the same other than the money is asked for, which I will tell you in a second.
It's not in there.
It is page 3, item number 2.
$490 per quarter.
Per
And
quarter.
I think we were paying $450.
Yeah, so I don't see an annual fee of $1,960 billed quarterly in the amount of $490. So that will go up $40, you're saying?
Yes.
from our current quarterly.
Yeah,
And pretty much everything else is in here, is the same. It's in force until December 31st, 2024. Currently, right now, we pay it every quarter. As you were saying, $450. So I will entertain a motion, since there's nothing else that I don't believe that's different on here.
I do have one thing.
Yes,
I'm gonna have Johnny, if it's okay, ask him to put the board vice president in the signature block, because I don't know that.
we're gonna be able to get him
Yeah.
to sign. Okay, I'm
Is
fine
that-
with that.
Okay.
okay, I'll
Okay,
make
so
a
the
motion.
only change that we're gonna add to the contract, which needs to be in the motion, is that the president's signature be changed to the vice president.
I make a motion
Go ahead, I'll entertain
to
that.
approve the contract agreement for implementation of Cross Connection Control Program 2024. In what's just the only change to the contract is that we ask that the vice president be on the signature page.
Okay, do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, is there any discussion, questions about that motion? If not, I'll do a roll call of directors. Okay, Director Garcia is absent, Director Gibson's absent, Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
and Director Schoenberg is an aye. That is 3-0-0 with 2 directors absent. That motion passes. We will sign, the vice president, myself will sign the new Cross Connection Specialist Services contract once that's amended. Moving on to item 15, discussion vote on future agenda items. Do we have any future agenda items that we need to discuss?
We have rotating board positions on December 14th. And we have Christmas plans on December 14th. And then some other
The
ones that aren't coming up.
forming the budget ad hoc.
That one always carries over. Oh, forming the budget ad hoc. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, we'll call it I have that in my notes, so. Budget ad hoc. Yeah, so that'll be on there and several other things.
Anything else to add to the future agenda items? Before I entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a
Okay, I
motion
will
that we
entertain a
we
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn this meeting.
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, a roll call of directors, Director Garcia absent, Director Gibson absent, Director Nyman,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Schoenberg is an aye. The meeting is adjourned at 5:27 PM. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving, Pam and Joan,
Happy Thanksgiving.
and to everyone in the office.
Happy Thanksgiving all. Enjoy.
Okay. Thank you.
Good night.